Hello everyone, Roger here with the Great Central Sun YouTube channel, and I want to thank all of you who've joined the community. As you've probably heard me say before, I don't like to use the word subscribers. It's very mechanical, and just places human beings in a very stale, staunch, sort of just let me put this over here in the toolbox kind of energy, and that's not how we should refer to each other. Not critical of anybody that uses that word, because after all, that is the term and that everybody uses. But I don't like to use it. I want us on this channel to be a community more than anything. So today, let's talk spiritual gifts. Before I get into it, I'd like to say that whenever the word spiritual is used, often it has this feeling of something that is hard to attain or not really reachable. So I really don't like to use that term because of that particular energy that goes along with it. Because spirituality is practical. It is sensible. It is not something far out there. Okay? It really isn't. So we have what are referred to as gifts, and we see people that have the ability to do certain things that are supposedly extraordinary. And what I'm talking about is someone who has the ability to see the future, someone who has clairvoyant abilities, someone who can do things like heal someone else from a distance without ever meeting them, the ability to communicate telepathically, mind to mind. And I'm sure you get the message. There are many, many, many of these abilities that are all a part. They're not, let me get this straight. They are not gifts. No one is given anything. And I like to emphasize that, because when you refer to them as gifts, first of all, it suggests that you didn't really earn them. You didn't do anything to receive them. They just happened. And hear terms like, God has given me this gift. The universe has provided me with this gift. What's another term that we could think of? I was born with this gift, which is partially true. Partially true. The fact of the matter, these are not gifts. They are abilities. And when you use the word abilities, then it has a completely different energy. So you have these abilities. How did you get them? First of all, I'd like to just go back to kind of expand a little bit on the things I just mentioned, like the universe. The universe gives no one anything. The universe is sheer intelligence. It doesn't love, it doesn't hate, it doesn't give anything. The universe is like a, what's the best thing I heard someone use the other day? I'll use this. The universe is like the ocean. It's like an ocean and its waves. Now, if you're in the ocean and you know how to navigate those waves, we know people do. We've seen the best of them do it. Say, for example, a surfer. They know how to navigate waves, and when you see a surfer at the height of a wave, riding it perfectly, it's a beautiful thing to see, isn't it? Right? Now, why can they do that? Because they have figured out how to ride that wave. They have learnt how to ride that. They know how to time it. They know where to go. They know where to be. Now, let's say someone like me goes in there and a 20-foot wave comes up. It'll crush me. You know why? Because I don't know how to navigate it. I don't know how to time it. I'm not a great swimmer. Universe is no different. Life is no different. If you know how to navigate life, and you've learned by taking care of your emotional body, your physical body, your mental body, and your spiritual body, then the creator within you will start to function, because now that creator within you is calling the shots, and it calls the shots for even the things that are outside of you, right? So the universe is no different. You're not getting nothing from the universe. You're not getting anything from the universe. Whatever it is you get is because you know how to navigate around it. You know how to take the steps. You've taken the time out of life to learn what life is all about. All right? And so, by the way, I'm coming up with a course and a book so that we can very easily understandable, very readable, very interesting. Both of them. Because we need these. I'm on this channel. I've got probably over 100 videos where I talk about consciousness, and I talk about gifts, emotions, talents, abilities, all those things that we have within us. So now I have to produce something that someone can take and lead to all these things that I'm talking about, or what others are talking about, right? So I'm going to be doing that. I don't know when. I'm working on it now, but it'll be soon. But anyway, to get back to the subject, you have to navigate life. The universe is no different, or it will crush you. No one gave you your gifts. You earned them. Even if you came here and you were born with them, at some point or another in the past, other lives, some of you took over 100, 200, 300 lives to develop what it is that you have. And you come here only to be told from the time you're young that they're gifts. They're not. You earned them fair and square, and some of you died and were burnt at the stake for those abilities, only to come back and offer them to humanity. They're not gifts. They're abilities. And they're not to be given away to any Tom, Dick, and Harry who won't appreciate them. They're meant to be used to benefit people, but they're also meant to benefit you as well. All the way around. All the way around. Yourself and others. Right? So they're not gifts. You've earned them. No universe gave them to you. Because you're the universe. You have a universe inside of you. You have a universe inside of you. The distance between cells, when you compare it on a ratio, is similar to the distances between stars. You have a sun within you. And it's located here. Of course, I'm in the car, so you can't see. It's just below the chest. It's called the solar plexus. Solar means sun. You have that within you. We're reminded of that from time to time here on Earth. But most of the time, what we're told is that, here's another term for you. There's something greater than you. There is nothing greater than you. There is nothing greater than you. Of course, you and the Creator are not one and the same, because the Creator and the created cannot be one and the same. Right? Now, as I said, the Creator and the created are not one and the same. Not possible. But on this earth, your mind is the greatest thing here. Your mind is the most powerful force on this planet. Everything created, whether it's physical, can be seen or not seen, it's been created by your mind. And your mind is not just the mind that you use to do everyday things, get educated, go to school. That is a part of mind. Next week I'll come out with the video of the different parts of mind. And it's going to be a great video. So wait for it. It comes out next week. And I'm going to be talking about it specifically because then this is going to open you up to parts of your mind that you are being shut away from. Because all we know of mind is the intellectual mind, the logical mind. You know, how smart are you? You know, how fast can you add something? How much information do you know? Because most of the time, intelligence is referred to as the amount of memory that you have. Memory and intelligence are two completely different subjects. Memory is not intelligence. Memory is an accumulation of information. Much of it bogus. So that's not intelligence. We're going to get into that next week. So to get back again to the subject, your mind is the most powerful thing here on earth. And so those who control the planet, who throw out these false information so that you give away your energy, you know, the term, I used a couple of the terms, the universe will provide, bogus, that's disempowering. Okay, God will provide, bogus, that's disempowering. You know, that's very disempowering. We have to begin to take control of our lives because everything that happens in it is created by us. You have to accept responsibility first. Responsibility is not blame and fault. Responsibility simply is, as I've said in previous videos, the ability to respond. That's it, nothing else. It says it in the word. Responsibility, right? So once we start doing that, we can find out what we will start to begin to bring the unconscious into the conscious, because that is the issue. Last video I talked about the main purpose of everything here is to pull you away from your spirit, your highest of higher selves, that part of you. That's the part of you that is the ultimate mind. The true creator. Plane's going up top. It's going, so I'll let that pass along. But that is the ultimate mind. Okay, and that's what, and when I say you've been pulled away from by this reality, I'm talking about, I'll be a little specific, those who think that they are caretakers of this planet and running it to the ground. Those who have you working 9 to 5, labeling it, you know, working for a living, and then you have nothing else, no time for anything else. And you're working your behind off only for a paycheck that's only going to last you temporary, and you need to go work some more. Those people, those beings, to be more accurate, are the ones that have worked to shut things down. And waking up is simply realizing what is in front of you and seeing things just as they are. Not what someone else wants you to believe they are, not what you've been told they are, not what you've made up in your mind that they are, but just as they are. Because once you can see things as they are, you can make the proper decisions to make them the way that you want. Right? So waking up is, you know, I'm going to shock some people here. If you've woken up, very good. That's not the real deal. That's just, okay, I now realize what's really going on. The real work begins after you wake up. Just waking up is, yeah, it's an accomplishment. But after you wake up, you have to start taking the steps so that you can have higher levels of awakeness and awareness. You know, when you wake up, it's like you're a seedling and your head just came out of the ground. You were buried in the ground. You know, everything was going on, and then you woke up, boom, and you have 2 leaves. You're a burgeoning, beautiful, little seedling plant coming out of the ground, and now you can see things. You're out of the darkness, right? But 6 months down the line, that seedling, that little plant should have more than 2 leaves. Year from now, it should have gotten a little bigger. If you woke up 10 years ago and you still just woke up and you're still a 2-leaf seedling, you have been stunted. Okay? Every year should be a progression of higher levels of awareness, expansion and growth in consciousness. Expansion of growth in consciousness. So that's the important key. And when you wake up and you start doing the work to undo all that was done so that you can become a better version of yourself, when you do that, you're bringing the stuff that you do on an unconscious level forward into the conscious, where you can make the adjustments. Because as long as they're in the unconscious, things will happen in your life. You'll be like, what the heck is going on? And as long as they're in the unconscious, others can manipulate you, which is exactly what the agenda is here. To keep things in the unconscious, because as long as they're in the unconscious, you can't do anything to create the best version of yourself. That's number one. And number two, it allows you to be controlled by others. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a work in progress. It's a work for as long as you're alive. Every day I'm learning. Every day I have to bring a little from the unconscious into the conscious. And little by little, nothing happens overnight. Next thing you know, a year, 2 years from now, you look back and you go, wow, I'm a completely different person than when I was a year ago, 2 years ago. That's how you know you've grown. That's how you know you've grown. The relationships are different. The people you surround yourself with are different. The things that you do are different. Synchronicities start happening, and things that you thought were impossible are now completely possible. And your abilities that I just talked about, they begin to grow. And you start discovering abilities you didn't even know you have. Because as you move things into the conscious, as you remove bad situations, trauma, emotional pain, childhood stuff, they cover up your abilities. They cover up and corrupt your ability to make decisions that are in your best interest and the best interest of your families. They do. It doesn't feel like it, but yeah. And you start becoming more and more, and you start accomplishing things, and you go, I don't know how I did that, but yeah. That's because the greater intelligence within you, the creator, is now functioning within you. The creator within you is now functioning. And that creator has always been there. It's not coming from the outside. I'm not talking about some being outside who created. I'm talking about you in here. That part of you is now in charge. Not the ego and not anything else. Okay? And the ego becomes what it should be. A friend and a guide. Something that it becomes a tool that you can use for becoming more self-aware. More self-actualized. That is the positive ego. That is the positive ego. And the ego that everybody talks about and denounces and doesn't, is the negative ego. I like to make a difference between the two. You ain't going to be here without an ego. Now the term ego death. Bad language. Why? Because it's deceptive. The ego cannot die. If the ego dies, you die. You can't survive without it. But what you want to do is you don't want to identify with it. You don't want to be led around by the nose by it. You want to have it in its proper place, where it helps you navigate the reality. Hey, do your job properly, look both ways when you cross the street, etc. That's the ego's job. To help you understand that you are an individual. You are an individual, even though you're a part of the whole. You are part of the individual. You're an individual, as well as part of the whole, because you have the ability to do that too. That's what the ego does. And that's it for today. I will come out with a video next week about the different parts of mind. Stay tuned for that. And remember to defy the taboo against finding out who you are.